Trapping plays a very important role in modern-day wildlife management. Professional wildlife biologists monitor fur-bearer populations to maintain a healthy and sustainable harvest of this important, renewable natural resource. Trapping provides recreation and income for licensed trappers across this country. The Fur Shed Series, brought to you by Who's Your Trapper Outdoors. Who's Your Trapper Supply, Leatherwood Creek Trapping Scents, HTS Productions, Who's Your Trapper Deer Scents, and Leatherwood Wildlife Art.
All right, show you what I'm working on. I've got a few MB550s that we're going to add to our trap collection for this year. And what I've done with them is this is stock right here. This is how they come with this machine chain, and then the two crunch-proof swivels. One at the base plate and one at the end of the chain. So then at that point I'm adding a J.C. Connor shock spring, and I'm adding another crunch-proof swivel. I'm adding about 12 inches of additional machine chain, and then I've got another crunch-proof on the end. This is some that I actually already rusted up. So we're ending up with about close to 27, 28 inches of length here. And then we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swivel points. So we can get a lot of versatility out of this trap in terms of smaller animals, larger animals. Obviously this trap's strong enough to hold the toughest coyote. And then with this setup, and with the cast jaws, offset jaw, and with all the swivels and the shock spring, it's a good trap all around, I think, for the versatility of smaller animals and clear up to a coyote, because you're going to catch, other animals in your coyote sets. So with this length of chain and with all the swivel points, you can keep that animal busy at the set, and he's not going to lunge and get direct pull against the trap because of the shock spring. And then with all those swivels, you can constantly just roll in that chain without it getting kinked up or bound up. So that's what I'm working on. What I'll do on these then, and I'll show that in another episode. So we'll boil them in dye, get the machine oil off of them, and then I'm not going to worry about rusting the trap up. I'm just going to go ahead and wax them at that point. So anyways, that's what I'm doing this evening. I always think I'll have all this done by, well in time, way before the season ever starts. And of course, I've got a pretty good handle on it, but I still got some last minute things that I'm working on. I've been through a lot of MB550s already doing this, and this is kind of the last ones. Like I said, I've added these for this, added some traps. So that's kind of what I'm finishing up on this evening. This past weekend, I got one of these, number 3. It's a 3N, and it's actually a USDA issued 3N. This was kind of the old coyote trap in the 70s and prior, before the coil springs became very popular. Cast jaw, offset jaw, machine chain, got an excellent swivel in the chain. These have got excellent holding power. They're a little hard to conceal because they're so big. This one is got a night latch filed on it, but there's no pan adjustment. A lot of people freak out on long spring traps because the pan is wobbly or free floating, but the tension is added to the pan of these traps by the pressure of the jaw coming up against the dog. So that's the way this trap was designed to function. So, like I said, a lot of people really get bothered by that, but that's how this trap was designed. And these kind of traps have caught literally thousands of coyotes. This trap actually has more holding power because of the long spring than the original coil springs, but it's probably slower. But it certainly has more holding power, but there's a lot more here to conceal. This trap, the cool thing about this trap is belonged to Tim Julian. A lot of you've probably heard of Tim. He's was a very successful nuisance control trapper, ADC trapper year-round in the Indianapolis area. He did a lot of training and consulting on a national basis on that in that field, and he died last spring. Just kind of all of a sudden, it was kind of a shock to all of us. So it's kind of special to have one of his traps. I've got one of his trap tags, and I'm going to put that up in here. I'm not even going to wax or dye it. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But he was an instructor at the Trappers College as well, and certainly miss him. And I kind of feel fortunate to have one of his traps. So kind of cool. Okay, like I said, I've got the trap, of course. This is all stock. Trap comes with this to this point. I'm adding a pre-bent rivet here. Then I'm adding a J.C. Connor shock spring. Then I'm adding another Embry Crunch Proof swivel here. And then another, it's like 11 inches of chain, machine chain. And then another MB Crunch Proof swivel at the end. So I've got, like I said, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swivel points, and with the shock spring in there, I think I've got a good versatile setup. The shock springs, it always amazes me how much an animal, when they're in the trap, particularly a coyote, something big, strong coyote like a coyote, can compress that spring. So that's actually taking a tremendous amount of direct pull off your trap jaws. So anyways, it's I think it's going to give me a lot of versatility, or I know it'll give me a lot of versatility on variation of animals that we can catch when you're land trapping. So, obviously we trap coyotes going on south, and we'll catch a number of gray foxes and, of course, red foxes on occasion up here in the Midwest, and then also bobcats. So it's kind of what I'm doing on these, and these can be hooked to a drag or stake solid. We're going to probably have a split ring on this end right here for the versatility of the drag attachment, or also for using the cable stakes. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. Also been out here kind of starting to get things organized on my shelves here at the end. Still got a little ways to go yet, but on the top shelf I've got some of the lighter things that are easier to lift up there, pack baskets, and on my little bins up there I've got miscellaneous hardware in them, anything from ferrules to universal swivels, trap tags, split rings, tags, brackets, that kind of thing. And then next row down, I've got 110s, body traps, 110 body traps, and then some dog proofs. And this area right here we'll probably actually end up using for trap bins as well. Next row down is all going to be coyote traps. And then I've got some number 11s over here on this side for a coon. Those will probably end up going up on the next row up. And then the next row down are drags, and finish the row out with some coyote traps. Then on the bottom, I've got the bigger totes, and they've got some 1.5 coils for water trapping. I've got one that's got miscellaneous body traps in it, and I've got a couple dozen 330s and that kind of thing down here on the bottom. So like I said, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on traps, getting them in bins. These totes right here, this is a brute tote. I buy them at Lowe's. It's really a good heavy duty tote, and you can stack them on each other. And over the years, I found that, they on trips or whatever, they crack and don't hold up very well. And these right here, I've had really good luck with holding up. They're, like I said, they're a little more money, but they're going to last a lot longer than some of the cheaper ones. Down here on the bottom, I've got the bigger totes, and we've had good luck with these too. But the problem is, you get 3 dozen or so coyote traps in there, or drags or whatever, and then they're so heavy you can't really lift them. So, anyways, I've gone a little bit smaller tote, a little heavier duty tote, and they're holding up and they're working real well. So hopefully I don't have to replace them for a long time. Anyways, that's that. It's a Brute brand. So that's kind of what's going on this evening. Like I said, I'm working on traps, getting this generally organized. I've got a little bit more I need to do before season actually comes in, and we'll be ready to go.